Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to PhilDoes3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream on Twitch weekdays from 5 PM Pacific Daylight Time in the US, 11 AM in Australia and 12 AM in the UK. Let's continue on with what we were working on yesterday in Max. We've started texturing our garden terrace, so we'll continue on with that today. Let's open up our file. So we'll probably end up doing a bit more texturing in Mari. I want to finish off that stair section, so. All right, we'll load it up. I'll make that full screen. And let's start working on these pieces here. And that one right there. I'll separate those out individually first and then we'll look at how we can attach it all together later. But we're going to start by baking the texture down. So what we want to do is go to the modify panel, put a unwrap UVW on. We're going to set the map channel to channel 2. We're going to move the UVs across and open the UV editor. We'll select all of our UVs and go to mapping, flatten mapping. Okay. Now we want to do a render to texture. We want to use mapping channel 2. We want a diffuse map. And I'll render these ones out at 1024. And we'll save it into our stairs folder. We're going to call it bottom left. We'll save it as a 24-bit target. We don't need an alpha channel. So we're going to render that out. Close the render to texture. Now we want to export that piece. Into our stairs folder. We'll call it bottom left. I'm going to save it as an OBJ. That's all fine. I'm just going to rename this bottom left in Max. All right. I think I'll texture each of these individually with their own texture. I could reuse the same texture, but because they're so close to each other, it's probably a better idea to do them individually. So we'll do that. All right, we want to unwrap UVW to map channel 2. We'll move the UVs across, open the UV editor, select all the UVs, mapping, flatten mapping. Okay. Then we'll render to texture. Sometimes Max will do this. If that happens where you can't see the whole panel, just adjust the base here. That'll fix itself right up. Channel 2, diffuse map, 1024, and we'll call this bottom right. (24-bit) target, render. All right, we'll close that up. Now, before we can actually import it into Mari, we have to copy the UV channel across. So go to the Modify panel and Channel Info. Map channel 2, copy and paste. And we want to clear channel 2 because we don't need it now. We're going to do the same for this one here. Copy, paste, and clear. Okay, call this one bottom right. We'll just re-export this again. Export selected. There's an OBJ. That one was bottom left. Yes, I want to replace it. This one. Export selected. I'm going to call this one bottom right. Export. Done. Now we'll do the same for the two top pieces here. We're going to unwrap UVW, map channel 2, move them across, open UV editor, flatten mapping, then render to texture, map channel 2, add a diffuse map, 1024, we'll call this one top left, 24-bit, and render. And now we'll do this one. Unwrap, channel 2, flatten mapping, render to texture, channel 2, diffuse map, 1024, and we'll call this one top right. Okay, call this one top left, top right. Remember, we have to copy our map channels across, so copy from 2 into 1 and clear, and do the same for this one. Copy 2 into 1 and clear. Now we can export them. Top left, there's an OBJ. And top right, there's an OBJ. Okay, let's just make a quick save here. Just to be on the safe side. And let's load up Mari. Mari can take a little while for it to sort itself out. Okay, we'll start a new project. We'll call this one bottom left. Load up the OBJ file we just exported. Right there. We want to create this is a 1024 texture map. All right. I'm just going to check, okay, the position of that. We can import the texture map that we just rendered out. It was bottom left, Targa. Put it on flat shading so we can see it a little bit more easily. And let me get myself oriented here. I'm just going to assign that texture to the object, the new texture to the object now. So we'll throw down a standard map, a bitmap, bottom left. Show shaded, show realistic. Assign material. Okay. All right, let's start doing some painting. I'm going to throw a new layer on. That way I if I don't like anything I've done, I can just remove the layer. And we'll import some textures. All right, let's import a few more. No, I don't want those ones. While it's loading those up. All right, it's done. Let's have a look now. What do we want? Might be interesting if we use it as a layer mask. See how we go. Now for this one, I'm actually going to turn off edge masking because I want the texture to flow around the object itself. I don't need that much fine control around something that's large. All right, we're on a new layer. Okay, paint that in there. We'll bake that down. Rotate the model around like that. Move the model over a little bit. Okay. I'm just going to use this as like a mask so that it adds a bit more variation on what we've already got on the base texture, and then we'll start painting over that again. All right. A bit more through here. Bake that down. Move it over. Move the texture up. Make sure we get up to near the edge of that so that they blend in a little bit better. Bake that down. And with this one we'll do in 2 different stages, I think. So we'll do it like this to about the middle. Just make sure we just grab over the edge there to blend those textures in a little bit more. Move it up and continue along into around about the middle. Bake that down. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. So along the edge into around the middle. Like that. Move the texture up along that edge and into around about the middle. Like that. Bake that down. Now our texture continues around the edges of the box. Let's work on the top and the bottom. Again, we'll do this in sections, like possibly halves here. We may just have to go over it once we've got the complete texture down, just to cover up any little overlaps that may happen. Bake that down. Now we can go right up to the edge here without worrying about it stretching on the opposite side, along that back side, because of the angle. It's not seeing it, so it's not going to paint on it. Whereas on this side, for instance, if I was painting here, it would overflow down onto this side of the box. If that happens, it's not a problem though. You can just paint over it again. Just save yourself some work if you don't do that to begin with. See here, it's stretched the texture down a little. So we'll fix that up now. I have a couple of options here. I can either rotate the model around so it's in the right position like that, or I could rotate the texture, whichever's easier. Again, these sides, that didn't happen because they were facing up like that when we were painting, so they weren't affected. This side again, that stretching, easy enough to fix. Just like that. Bake that down. Maybe just a bit here, I think. A bit more just there. Alright, that's looking okay. And we'll do the other side. Bake that down. Rotate our model. Just fix up that little bit through here. And we'll do through here. And bake that down. Okay, a little bit of stretching happening just there on the corner. So we'll just paint that out. Bake it down. Again, just a little bit right there. Bake it down. And maybe just in through here. Bake that down. Just in there. Alright. I'm just going to save that. Okay, let's move this texture out of the way for a minute. And play with that blending mode a little bit. Maybe something like that. That's a good start. Let's throw another layer on and choose another texture. I'm just looking at my brush presets here at the moment, see if I want to change the brush style at all. Let's see how we go. Anyway, let's look for another texture now. Just move this in so I can see it. I just want to have a quick look at that. Right. I might pull this panel in so you can see what I'm doing here. This is the brush panel, so if I wanted to change the opacity on my brush, I can do it just here in this panel. What have we got? What are we going to play with here? I might change the outer radius a little bit. I may bring down the opacity as well. and the flow. That's a bit too high, I think, so we'll go back down. Maybe a little bit bigger than that. Alright. Now, because I was just testing out my brush on that layer, all we have to do is well, we can either turn the layer off, we can cut the layer out. Why don't we just turn it off? And we'll create a new layer here. Move the object down. All right. We'll get rid of it completely. It's probably easier. Make sure I'm on the layer I want to paint on. I'm erasing this part here that I don't really want. I'm mainly concerned with this white piece here at the bottom. I like the look of that. So I'll blend that in. Go back to our paint. We'll rotate the model around a bit and paint in some of this. Bake it down, rotate the model, paint some of that in. Just going over the same area a few times now that I've turned my opacity on the brush down, so it's a little more pronounced towards the base than toward the top. Bake that down. I'll move that a little bit. Again, I'm going over the base here. In fact, I've switched to my Wacom tablet now. It just makes my life a little bit easier than using the mouse. You can use the mouse, but using the tablet is just that bit easier. And we'll do it just in here. The tablet gives me the option of using pressure for the opacity instead of going over the same area multiple times with the mouse. It just makes my life a bit easier. Okay, we are going to have to fix up that base there because of that stretching has happened, so we can do that a couple of ways. You're not on that one. Nope. The easiest way is probably going to be to paint back over it again. And we can use the same texture here that we've been using. We can just scale it up a little bit. I press the right key. There we go. Again, I'll go back to my tablet. Yeah, I'll just take that down. I just want to quickly go over this piece through here, just to blend them in a little bit better. Like that. Bake it down. And we're going to do the same thing now to the top. So get an angle on it like that. I'm actually going to turn this texture around like that. And we'll start painting from here. Just put a bit more pressure on this top part so the texture comes through a little bit more. Gradually fades out as it goes down. We'll bake that down. Rotate the model. Like that. Move this texture over a bit like that. And continue painting. Just a bit darker toward the base, or a bit thicker of a texture on the base, or toward the top I should say. Let's rotate it around, move the texture over a little bit, and paint. Bake that down, and let's just marry these two corners a little bit better. Like that. We'll bake that down. Now it didn't affect the top because I had it angled up like that, so if the paint doesn't see it, it doesn't paint on it, and it won't stretch the paint on the opposite side. If I had painted it like that, it would have stretched the texture across the top. So if you want to do that, just make sure it's angled away from you. But we want to now paint that texture on the top anyway, just give it a bit more continuity, so we'll do that right now. Blend these in a little bit. No, I'm not going over all of the model, so I don't want to destroy completely the texture underneath of it, so I'm just moving it around a little to where I want the texture to show up, not covering the entire model with this new texture, just in bits and pieces here and there. Okay, we'll bake that down. I can see I've got a bit of texture stretching happening there, so we'll fix that up. Bake that down. Okay, and we'll do the same thing here. Might actually rotate that texture back around again, I think. And again, I'm not completely covering the texture underneath, I'm just painting in sections that to add a bit more variety and a bit more interest. Bake that down. And we'll just fix up a little bit here, just to get rid of any stretching that might have happened by accident along the top, just through there. Bake that down. Okay. Now let's play with that blend mode a little bit. Nope. No. Definitely not. Difference could be interesting if we pull it back a little bit. Maybe a bit like that. I want to add a bit more interest, a bit more variety. So let's throw on a new layer. I'll just save the file to be on the safe side. Let's see now. What about you? Scale you down, move you in. We're on a new layer, so that's fine. I like some of these cracks, so break that down. Maybe, yes, maybe you right there. And maybe just down through here. Maybe you as well. Back that down. Now rotate this texture around. And I think I like this one up through here. Take that down. We don't want the top to feel left out, so we'll pop a couple up there as well. Maybe here. Break that down. All right, let's play with the blending on that a little bit. Let's move it out of the way. Maybe an overlay, I think. Okay, let's put a bit more variety over the entire thing, so I'll throw another layer on. Let's try you. You might be interesting. Now again, let me bake that down. I don't want, if I left the model looking like this and I started painting here, it will stretch across the top. So all I have to do is angle it up a bit, and it should be fine. Bake that down, rotate it around. Because I'm starting at the bottom, I don't want to angle it like that, I want to angle it like that. Bake that down. Now because I'm working towards the top, I want to angle the model up like that. Take that down. And I just want to merge these pieces along the edge a little bit better. Take that down. And bake that down. Same here with this edge. And bake that down. All right. Now, maybe multiply. Maybe lighten. No, not overlay. Not soft light. Maybe hard light might be a bit better. Look at that crack there. Let's see what that looks like inside of 3D Studio Max. So I'm just going to save this. And I'm going to export flatten, export all layers flattened. We're going to put it in our stairs folder. We're going to call it top. It's not top, it's bottom. Bottom left painted.tga for Targa. Looks like I have my caps lock on. Bottom left TGA. There we go. Oh, painted, because we have our original text is called bottom left. We don't want to overwrite that, just in case. Alright, let's go back into Max now. Into the material editor. And load up that new texture. Right there. Alright. Okay. Where am I? Going to select the bottom right.